Thank you, Mr Rumbles. I call Christina McKelvie, followed by Michelle Ballantyne. Ms McKelvie, please.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. Presiding Officer, the trade union movement was a natural place for any activist to begin their fight against inequality and injustice. And it is that same fight, the fight against intolerance and unfairness, that drives me every day to fight on behalf of the constituents in my constituency in Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse. Whether in work or not, being within the trade union movement offers a voice to stand in unity within the union, with colleagues, and to fight against discrimination and persecution. And make no mistake about it, workers have been persecuted over the years, no more so than by the UK Conservative Government and its Anti-Trade Union Act, because that is exactly what both this legislation and is what the Tory party are as an entity, anti-trade union. The Trade Union Act, as we have heard, is a pernicious piece of legislation which seeks to undermine collective solidarity, which seeks to restrict fundamental rights, the human rights of workers to withdraw their labour. I am proud to say that this Scottish Government and our SNP colleagues at Westminster opposed this legislation every step of the way. And let me be clear, Presiding Officer, not only has the Scottish Government mitigated some aspects of this Act, today I further reiterate the call for this Act to go, for workers to be allowed to organise, collectivise and freely exercise their human right to withdraw their labour. From the minimum wage, increased and enhanced by this Government, to the real living wage, not the fake one, to the EU Working Time Directive, now under threat from a reckless, hard Brexit Conservative Government, trade unions continue to be at the forefront of striving for decent employment practices and the enhancement of working conditions for all. It is with that same spirit and righteousness that we have to defend our workers' rights, particularly against the unrelenting pursuit of a hard Tory Brexit. From maternity rights to paid holidays, the EU underpinned those working rights. So no, Presiding Officer, I do not believe nor recognise the Conservative amendment today, which believes the UK Government will somehow now transform into the party of working people and ensure working rights of millions in a post-Brexit Britain. Most of us in this chamber don't believe them, and most of the United Kingdom don't believe them either. Presiding Officer, simply put, workers' rights are human rights. A simple declaration, but one of virtue and truth. And it's this Scottish Government that has worked with our partners in the trade union movement and shown commitment to these rights. The Fair Work Convention and Fair Work Framework are testament to this, an agreed framework which values respect, which values people and well-being over greed and profit. There is a clear message from the framework. By 2025, in Scotland, your working conditions will be underpinned by the values of fairness, well-being and respect. Not exploited, unregulated or unequal. That a fairer working environment will be created by providing opportunity, security, fulfilment, respect and an effective voice for every working person in Scotland. As the nature of work changes, and make no mistake, it has changed and we recognise that today, this Government, the Scottish Government, stands ready to listen and act. And this Government has acted against the Anti-Trade Union Bill, ensured that those bidding for public contracts must adhere to fair work practice, refused to employ anyone directly through the use of 0 hours contracts. That's our Government. But I still hope that they will listen and act even further. And I will listen to the likes of the Better Than Zero campaign, a vibrant, young, member-led organisation that breaks the mould. It leads the way in holding to account bad bosses, on shining a light on poor employment practices, on educating our young people about their rights within the workforce. Better Than Zero are an example of what can be achieved through the dynamism of youth. Maybe some of us should try it. Through the fearlessness of spirit, using flash mobs, creativeness, song and sound. These young people have defined how the trade union movement should respond to the changing nature of work. Presiding Officer, it's far too easy, and many of us say it in this chamber, young people are our future. Young people are our now. And the under-25s in our country are discriminated over and over and over again, whether it's in working practices, whether it's in the living wage, whether it's in the minimum wage, whether it's housing benefit. They're discriminated against all the time by this UK government. Now, they can't stand here and say they're sticking up for workers' rights when they do that to every young person under the age of 25. I'm sorry. Presiding officer, these young people are the apprentice or the administrator, the student or the stylist, and this is a government that knows that working conditions young people are subject to. They've heard a lot about it today. This is precisely why it will consult on extending free bus pass scheme to apprentices, and precisely why they have pledged in a manifesto to back a transition over the next parliamentary term towards payment of the real living wage as a new minimum legal requirement to all adults over the age of 18, not 25. From our young people to our aged, the Scottish Government has been proud to stand alongside workers of every creed, nationality and religion, especially our colleagues, friends and neighbours who are EU nationals. Let me reiterate, Presiding Officer, workers' rights are human rights, and I urge this Government and the UK Government to be at the forefront of defending and expanding them all to our workers in Scotland.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker will be Michelle Ballantyne, followed by Stuart Stevens, and this is Ms Ballantyne's